So it looks like you have some annotations here,
Well,
and I'm recording here. So
okay.
you can tell me that what you do differently from this recipe, which is from Aunt Julia's cookbook.
I do less flour, so when I cut it in half, the amounts in brackets are half recipe.
Okay.
But I can't tell you how many it serves, so I just make the full batch and then eat it for days afterwards if necessary.
So we do 2 cups of sweet cream. What do you use for sweet cream?
I use heavy whipping cream.
Heavy whipping cream. Okay. And you said when you say half,
I'm going to use 4 cups of cream, 1.5 cups of flour, 4 cups of milk, half a cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon salt. That's what I'm going to use tonight.
Okay. Sounds good.
Now, I really do want to try this other recipe, but like I said, it's heavy, heavy, heavy on butter.
Right. Right.
So it's bound to be really good.
Do you want me to take the video?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to have a hard time.
Okay. It's playing right now. 25 seconds. Into it.
Okay.
Well, this is a very long process to make it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And I already know this is 4 cups, so I'm not measuring.
Okay. 4 cups.
4 cups of heavy whipping cream.
Okay.
And the recipe says to stir for 10 minutes, I think, and cook and stir for 10 minutes.
Okay.
I do about medium heat.
David.
Put
I
cream
know.
into heavy saucepan and boil for 10 minutes. So that's what you're doing right now, but it's not boiling. But you don't need to stir constantly right now. We just need to kind of
Just wait for it to boil. Okay. We
But
can
you
pause.
guys, so it's not really as rich as
think the bumps have gotten smaller.
Okay.
It's still good.
Yo, yeah. Yeah.
And I can't really remember.
And it says scalded. So what I do is put it on.
You capturing this at home?
Yes.
She is.
Okay.
I put it on at the same time we're sort of doing this and turn it on really low heat. And then just kind of watch it because you don't want it to boil. I don't know why. Anu probably knows why. You don't boil that. You boil this, but you don't boil that. I don't.
Scalded seems past boiling. What do they mean by scalded?
I don't know. I don't know.
But you really just want it warm.
Yes, to the brink of boiling.
To the brink of boiling.
But not boiling. Okay. So we gotta stir this occasionally.
Okay.
Just occasionally, because we don't want it
But
to.
they're not right now.
It's on medium heat, but
They don't seem like the best standards. I never saw it.
it'll still scorch usually.
Okay.
Okay, so then we need 1.5 cups of flour, and they say sift it. Now I think that's a old recipe. They used to always sift flour,
Right.
Because it wasn't. I don't know. I still sift it just because
It's
I
how it
don't
separates
want.
things out.
Well,
There's
it
a
just
little air
it
in
puts it. It doesn't put a whole bunch of flour in at one time, which would make it lumpy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just very gradually.
Right. Right.
So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I really don't.
But if you keep stirring as you put the flour in, it
Well, that's after
will
we
not
boiled
get.
it. We have to boil this for 10 minutes. It hasn't even
Right,
started to boil
right.
yet.
As you put the flour in, if you keep stirring, it won't get lumpy.
Well, it doesn't if we do it right, Anu.
Right.
You're not going to jinx me, are you?
No.
Thank you.
I'm trying to skip the step of sifting.
Well, don't skip the sis. She had to go deliver something today.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to measure out 1.5 cups of flour,
Okay.
which I have done. And then as soon as this cream mixture, or cream boils for 10 minutes, we're going to sift this flour into that.
Hey, pretty girl.
Okay.
Look at your hair.
So we see it boil?
So we can see the numbers and things like that. Yeah.
No, she looks
4:06.
That's the time.
6. Okay, so I think it's boiling.
Can you look? Can you take a picture of it?
Well, it's not a heavy boil, but it's,
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it is boiling. Can you
but it
get
is.
it?
Yeah, I got
because
it.
there's the bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. So we got to follow instructions, which is what I always do.
Okay.
Okay, so I turned the heat down a little bit because I didn't want it real high.
Okay.
Okay, don't want it scorched.
That's good. We can stop. Most important. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the most important step here is to make sure that we don't scorch the cream by
Cream. Okay.
stirring.
Well, actually, it's the second most important step. The first most important thing is don't get lumps.
Okay.
And that's, I don't know, David, how we get lumps.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the scalded milk is sort of heating. It's not scalded yet, but I'm watching it because we want to add this after we do the flour. But
You'll know when it's scalding because the steam will rise,
well,
or
I don't know. It'll just around the edges. We don't want it to boil, so we just want to watch it. So when it gets to the point that it's almost going to boil, then I'm going to take it off there.
okay.
But meanwhile, I've got it on really low heat.
So when you find yourself on the Cooking Network, next season,
Right.
you'll know what's going on here.
Well, no, what I really want to do is try that other recipe, the no-fail one, the no-lumpy one, because I have been known to have lumps in my rømmegrøt.
I tell you what, we'll take this home and then you can do
Too good to
the
be
experimental one.
Well, I'll send some home. Serena says she likes this. Do you like it the next day, Serena, in the microwave?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I do too. I just love it the next day.
I wanted to bring some for Andrew because he's never had it, so.
Okay, well, I'll give you, yeah. You
All
can bring
right.
some home.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
sounds good.
everyone needs to taste rømmegrøt.
I know, right?
Great.
He was working, otherwise he would have come down here, but.
Well, that's would have been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We'll see.
Next year, maybe.
Next year.
Okay. But you can't tell whether there's any lumps in it. We're not going to be able to tell if there's lumps until we get to the finished product here.
It only looks like it has lumps.
It looks like it is, but it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. It's really hard to judge how much flour to use. See, I'm using, I told you I cut back half a cup of flour.
Yeah, right.
So you don't have any way to judge. Okay, that's all the flour. So you're going to stir that up. And now the recipe says, put it back on the fire.
Okay.
And it says, continue cooking over moderate heat, stirring to bring out the butter fat. Remove butter as soon as it forms and put into small pan to keep warm. Like I said, our cream isn't rich enough to get butter out of that.
I do see it's getting wet at the bottom though.
Yeah, see, there is butter and it is coming out, but there's not enough to draw out.
Right.
Okay, so just let that cook a little bit. I don't think we've got any lumps yet. I think we're doing good.
I should keep stirring, right?
Keep stirring. Said, and when then the recipe says add a little more flour. Well, I'm not going to add any more flour
Okay.
because I don't like mine thick. I like
Okay.
mine a little bit thinner.
Sure.
When well mixed, add scalded milk gradually. Okay, well this milk, see, it isn't quite hot enough, so I'm going to turn this milk up because this milk isn't scalded yet. So now this is on medium heat, and you've got plenty of grease in there. You don't need to stir quite so vigorously.
Okay.
But you need to keep stirring, but not quite so vigorously. I don't want you worn out yet because
Okay.
we've got a ways to go yet.
Okay.
And this milk, I turned the heat up because I want it to. I want it to be almost boiling.
Can you take a picture of the dial there? Just show me what she's setting it to.
It's on 7, but I'm not.
Nope, I better keep it on.
I think we need
Burner.
to turn this down a little.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just think we should.
Probably because we're waiting for that one.
Yeah.
It's like applesauce.
Yeah. It's kind of that consistency. I suppose I need to relax though.
I'm gonna take it off the burner. I don't know why. I just think it's okay. I just waiting for this now.
Cook's intuition.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Maybe. After a while, you just do things, I guess.
Cook. I don't claim to be anything.
I'm sure you can claim it. I mean, you made some wonderful meals for sure.
Oh, you're just kind.
No? No. I actually really enjoy your food.
Oh, good. Well, I cook for you. I cook comfort food, like my brother says, and that's what I cook when I go down there is comfort food.
Yeah.
Okay, see, this is steaming a little bit. It's thinking about boiling, but not quite there yet.
Okay. Let's cut it until it's ready.
Boiling, but there's bubbles around the edges.
Yes.
And I'm going to call that good.
Okay.
I'm calling
So it's
that
officially
good.
scalding.
It's officially scalded milk, okay? No, it's not quite. I need to find an easier recipe, David. This is too much on. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, now it says add the scalded milk gradually. Okay, so I'm going to add it gradually to this, and again, I've got it off the burner because I just think it makes more sense. I'm going to add this gradually, so you're going to stir, and it's going to be weird for a while, but am I keeping out of your way enough so you can?
Yep. You're just fine. Got a picture of it?
And she's doing it.
Great.
See, my mother used to make this by herself while she was mashing potatoes and making gravy, and
Wow.
I know. So it can't be that hard, right?
Maybe your mother was just Superwoman.
She was.
Yeah.
Well, her roots were closer to Norway than mine were, too. So you think that this is never going to be good, don't you, David? Just looking at this. Looks pretty gross, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Good faith here.
Can't be any worse than sausage making.
Oh, I've never tried that.
I haven't.
Well, you know, in Norway they don't eat us like we do. I mean, we serve it before a meal. They just serve it as part of a meal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Okay, I've got lumps, but I think they'll come out.
Okay, all the rest of it's been
Okay,
added.
now you're going to put it back on the heat. Well, that is down pretty low, so.
Okay, it's on 3.
Add, stirring until mixture is smooth. Okay, so as soon as it gets smooth, then we're going to add sugar and salt.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at this Rømmegrøt, and I'm thinking I probably should have added a little bit more flour. Instead of cutting the recipe back to 1 1/2, I maybe should have cut it back to 1 3/4. Because it looks like it's a little bit thin, but I'd rather have it a little bit thin than thick. That's just the way I like it. So it's well blended, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to add sugar and salt. 1/2 cup of sugar. There's some lumps in my sugar, but they should cook out.
Okay. Yeah. Sure dissolves pretty well, right?
Yeah. And a teaspoon of salt. Now you get to cook it for 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. And am I stirring that whole time?
You're stirring that whole time.
Okay.
10 more minutes.
I think you can cut.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfection. Okay, there's the timer. It's cooked 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay.
And we've been on 4. And you've also gotten the butter prepared, right?
Right. So
Okay.
you're going to dump that into the bowl.
Okay.
Put that there, right?
All right, here we go.
Perfect. Not a lump to be found.
Woohoo!
David, you did really well.
Thank you.
Ooh, look at that. Perfect. See, that was a real rich cream. You can tell by there's butter in there still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put that on the back burner. Now what?
Now turn the burners off, and then to serve this, I serve it with sugar and cinnamon, and I pass the sugar and the melted butter, but before I serve it, I put a little bit of melted butter just on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then sprinkle a little bit. This is sugar and cinnamon mixed together.
Okay.
Just stir.
Just kind of a garnish.
Yeah, there you go. So isn't that pretty?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very pretty.
Okay.
And lumpless. And then we
eat it.
eat it. We don't wait. We don't let it sit. Oh, okay. It's all ready to go. What do you know?
All right, yay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Aunt Janet, for teaching me how to make rømmegrøt.
Well, again.